Hey, what's going on, folks? It's good morning. But let's see if our signal's coming through. We'll do some social media posts real quick, and then we're gonna do some artwork this morning. So checking in on my signal here. Do some artwork. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Signal here. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Signal here. That sounds pretty good. All right, we'll let that be. We're gonna drop that volume down there to get it out of the way. I'm grabbing my social media post here real fast. We're going to just hit the online real fast here. Let me. I'm kind of bumbling around a little bit this morning, aren't I? My name's Phil Kearney. Hey, I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online. And we're creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting. It's called Crystals of Mabar. It's we're fighting undead and necromancers and demons in the Carnwood of Karnath on the continent of Corvair. It's for characters 7th and 8th levels. It'll be publishing on the DMsGuild once it's completed. I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018. I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004. I've been an illustrator, a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I've been playing D&D in general since 1987. Just to wrap up my intro here real quick. If you think this stuff is cool, hey, with new subscribers, thanks a lot, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notification of when we're live in the future. Here's a bunch of other books I've created on the DMsGuild already. They all have 100% free preview. Be welcome to check them out if you're a 5e enthusiast and they add value to your campaign. Be welcome to jump in my Discord community and let me know what you got going on. Love to hear about it. So let me drop this down out of the way so it's just out of the way, and we'll let's pop up this. This is the book cover we made around episode 40. Let's get that out of the way. And for those that are new to the channel, we're using a 16:9 format. If you have this video rolling on full screen, Photoshop doesn't automatically snap the screen, which honestly is a pretty useful idea. But here it is. So on your device, 16:9, tablet behind the DM screen, virtual tabletop on your widescreen monitor or on your phone. It's a 12-point font body text, so it's really easy to read. And each column is also 16:9 format when it's vertically aligned. So you can either look at a full page at a time and just flip scroll that way, or if you want to zoom in a bit more on the PDF device, you'll be able to look at each individual column, scroll sideways and then flip, scroll sideways and flip. So that's the format that we're using. There's a lot of page space. We're currently dropping an illustration of Rahid Malign, who is your handler. If you are using the Council of 12 plot hook, where you are looking to take over the operation of the necromancers that are in the Mabar Manifest zone, take the operation from them and profit from it yourself. You've basically been hired to heist the place from necromancers. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. Let's get after it. We're working on. He's based in the city of Sharn. That's kind of where this plot hook is happening. But it could be anywhere. Your involvement with Rahid is simply at the beginning as a handler and at the end as a reward giver. You don't actually interact unless you have a sending stone or you find a sending stone that you can communicate with Rahid with. He can't really help you during the adventure. That's your job. So the location isn't really important, so I took an opportunity to make some Sharn cityscape. Let's drop the sketch and pull Rahid aside and go back into the city. Here. There we go. Okay, so I don't know how serious I want to get about design work in here, but I do know I need to do at least some. This is 7 pixels. Let's go to 7 pixels. Cool. Smudge brush. I don't want to go crazy on the city details because I could get lost in here forever if I allowed myself to. And I got other illustrations to finish, so I'm going to attempt to be a a little conservative on how much detail I put into this because it is super backgroundy. But I do need enough detail for it to read, to register, so I don't want to shirk on that. So last night I resolved the spacing on the new items, like the magic items, new equipment, and plants and oddities in the adventure. That it only takes 2 pages for me to do the list of different like stuff that is in the. No, it was 3 pages throughout the adventure, but it took a little bit of organizing to make the page layouts work, to have enough space for all the illustrations and the description of the stuff that the characters can acquire. But that was successful. So tonight and possibly tomorrow off screen, I'll be resolving the mob statistics for all the, because you're 7th and 8th level characters in this adventure. You can effectively knock down. What is it? 4 characters can handle. I think it's 1,200 experience points worth of CR for an encounter they'll survive. That'll be difficult, but not necessarily deadly. Well, deadly encounters. Sorry, a deadly encounter I think comes in at 4,800 experience points with a party of 4 8th level characters. And anything less is far more survivable. But deadly means that there's a decent chance that at least one character will die over the course of the adventure, during the encounter. And now, okay, great. Now I can copy this. I can paste for transform, flip horizontal. We can merge these, and now we can squinch them. There. No, hey, Jefferson, Defected, how you doing? One building wasn't enough. Yeah, I gotta do a whole damn city now. Yeah, I know. I'm a stupid glutton for punishment. It's how I do. It's how I do. Luckily, I'm not gonna be doing intense details on all of these. Let me get that out of the way. Like this is all the level of detail I expect to do. I mean, we're looking at a scale of. Here's our scale. So like, I don't need to go psycho hard on all of these. I just need a little bit of outline to be able to define their shapes, and then we'll have lights to define where the different levels of space are inside of each of them. But yeah, I'm doing an entire cityscape for Sharn. I am a ridiculous glutton for punishment. This is a problem that I have in when I'm doing this artwork, that I don't want to cut corners. The whole reason I decided to start making books in the first place was because I wanted to feel that my art was earning the value that I put into it, and I wasn't able to do that as a freelance illustrator because the literal global market of illustrators has me competing against people with a requirement of a household income of like 20% of what mine is. I'm in Seattle. I'm competing with people in other countries that have a quarter of the cost, if not less. So long ago, I got priced out of the market, and so I was like, well, I want to do freelance illustrating. So at that point, I started getting into character commissions, but that market started getting flooded with global competition that again was able to undercut me. What I was what I was willing and happy to invest time in doing for $200, somebody else was willing to put in for $50. Simply just could not compete. So I was like, well, I like doing illustration for projects and stuff. What am I going to do to be able to continue doing artwork? And it's not so much getting paid. It's that getting paid is a sense of appreciation. Like, people are willing to give me money for my stuff. That means that they really appreciate what I'm doing, and there's kind of an agreement there about like not bailing on me, and you're investing the money to have my time to do the thing. And when that started to disappear, I'm like, what am I going to do about that? Am I just going to start just doing fan art for the rest of my life? And, you know, there you go. Or do I want to continue trying to do something with this? And the conclusion that I came up with was, how about you make your own books? And then you illustrate those. So you aren't getting paid for the art anymore. Specifically, you're getting paid for the books. So you can pay yourself second, like as a second degree of consequences. You're getting paid for your art, but they're really buying the books. So that was like, great. I am now my own art director. I can make books the way that I want to make the books, and I can fill the books with the artwork that I want to make as well. And now I don't have to worry about how much am I getting paid for this particular illustration. Now I get to worry about how much am I getting paid for the whole book. And that had a hidden consequence, which was me now looking at, well, this book is doing well. I want to do more of these books. What can I do to produce books more quickly? And the answer is not make cheaper art. So the whole purpose of doing this in the first place was for the art. So then I had to make a decision. What kind of art am I going to do? And what kind of compromises am I going to make to get them done? And the conclusion was, when I'm doing DMsGuild stuff, the type of art I'm going to do is color art. And the amount of compromising I'm going to make for speed is 0. I cut corners in the first book that I made, the Color Mana Spell Point Variant Rules book. Some of that art is pretty sloppy. That was me cutting corners to get things done. And when I finished that book, I'm like, I am never cutting corners like that again. That was wholly unsatisfying to do that. And so that's another reason why I'm going to reformat and reproduce all the Color Mana books for 2024, because my strive for integrity has upgraded, and I want to basically make amends for making cheap art. So I will be going through that process. Hold on. There's that. There it is. Get rid of that. That's my story. So when my brain says, "Hey, you should do a cityscape for Sharn," I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And Muse is like, "No, babe, I'm not kidding you. You should totally do that. It's gonna be awesome." I'm like, "Girl, all right." I can't say no to the Muse. That is like 100% something I cannot do. Merge that down. Paste. Plus, and again, the next book that I'm doing after this one is the Bastion campaigns. So, and architecture is my weak point. So, what's the best way to resolve that? Of course, let's just start doing a bunch of structures and architecture and shit. So, this is actually a smart step in the next phase of work that Phil does, in that we are going to be doing a book full of structures and stuff. So, hey, why not just get used to it now while you can, Kearney? that down. That's what the line weight's going to be like when we finish it. Very subtle. See, mostly silhouette, but just a little bit of structure poking through here or there. That's the idea. Oh, wait a second. Let's grab both of those. Yeah, like that. Very subtle. Doesn't stand out very much, but it is details that need to be done. All right, so let me. Oh, I've got coffee waiting for me. Coffee, what's up? Nice. I was gonna start worrying about your mental. Yeah, no kidding, right? It's okay. It's fine. My passion and purpose on this planet is illustration and loving my family. Possibly in that order. It's okay. They know this. But yeah, the one thing I will probably die at my easel, and I'm okay with that. This is something that I've been imbued with the ability to do. So I wanna crush it. So it doesn't really matter how many books I make, as long as I just keep making books, I'm going to end up being content. Of course I'd love to be able to finish books faster and punch them out and. Okay, something's going wrong. There we go. But this is very much the destination isn't the goal, it's the journey. And all the books that I make, I actually use in my own campaigns. It's just a matter of what kind of a campaign, which book am I going to grab. So like all this stuff has practical use for me. D&D and artwork. That's basically what I'm going to be doing until I'm dead. Yeah. Yeah. It's a sickness, my man. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, let's just layer in some stuff and just keep moving. What's the pixel point on this one? 7 points. I'm using a 2 pixel line for just the random line art that we do. That ain't working. That's the way we do it. Transform. Flip horizontal. Now on the city, keep in mind that this portion of the structure, 7 pixels, is 10 feet. And we've got our square brush, which makes it easy for us to do windows. So like this is set, that's 10 feet. 20 feet, 30 feet. So this archway is 30 feet tall. So when I come back through and I start doing as long as it's not too there, come through, do some lights on buildings, right? That's how we'll do it. So I'm measuring these pixel sizes on these brushes to there. I don't think I need that. Let's not overdo it. This, however, this will be useful. I was gonna do some filigree on here, but I don't think it needs it. Just put a line break in there. I'm gonna smudge it around the corners, curve it. And we'll put you about halfway. And let's go check out the pixels. There we go. 10, 20, 30, 40. Good. All right, good enough. Let's see here. Let's grab that. Copy. Nope. Copy, paste, free transform. Flip horizontal. Yeah, I don't have to, I don't feel like I'm murdering myself on the details here, and I don't feel like I'm cheapening. Considering the distance, I think this is a decent solution to have like this light level. It's not intense. It's not intense at all. It's just enough. You know, once we start adding some color in for the windows to put some life into it, it'll look a little less drab, but it'll still remain very receded in the background, which is what we want. So I think this is all going to work out just fine. Where do we go from here? Great question, Song. Let's do that. Let's put across here. We'll do another arch. Curve tool, thank you. Paste, free transform, flip horizontal. Merge that down. Merge that down. Where's the merge button? Thank you. They moved the merge button in the new edition. Yeah, that looks good. Subtle. Yeah, this is going to end up being okay. And let's do that. I am so looking forward to working on the Bastion campaign some more tomorrow. That is just absolutely burning a hole through me at this point. I can just leave that like that. I can leave. Good. Let's just keep traipsing around. Anywhere I'm seeing changes in width or angles, that's a good indication that's where another line could be. Here, I can do here. There we go, like that. Slowly making our way across the skyscape towards the furthest edges. But again, you know, we're figuring things out. So I'm gonna, oops, that's too big. Let's drop that back down to 2 pixels, and let's just go drop that down. Again, we're gonna have another line of buildings somewhere around like this. And then we have our heat here in the foreground, and then we have an office space using a comfy chair. We've got frames for a window. We'll have to extend that out to the edge of the picture. But the silhouette, the skyscape is going to get broken up by the frame, and then it'll have like maybe some tchotchke, like some Funkos or something along the window here. But yeah, so we don't need to do crazy detail here. We're going to have another layer here, and all this lower, these towers that are dropping down into the lower Dura. Those will become obscured. We're gonna have there's gonna be like a radiant light coming up from here like that, like radiating upward to create this underlighting that we have on these floating rocks. That's where we're getting to. So a lot of we're just working our way through the subtle details. When I'm doing architecture like this and structures and buildings, doing the outline first, and then just filling in some of the rudimentary details to distinguish the shape like this is like melting. Like at this point, this here is melting into the larger structure down here. So I don't feel a need to do a lot of any kind of detail stuff down there. The vertical alignment of the buildings is going to we'll be able to do like little windows and stuff like that or whatever. But they'll become less and less frequent as we move. Here's where the silhouettes are at, and once we move out of the silhouettes into the bulk of structure, those little points of distinguishment disappear. They just fade into the structure. So we don't have to go hard on detail all the way down. We can be selective and only focus on those crazy details where it really matters, which is at the silhouette level, where you can actually distinguish each building from each other. So that means we don't have to do ridiculous amounts of work for every single thing that we work on. Pause to reflect. Yes, that feels good. All right, let's just keep moving. I think right now just establishing where the vertical limit, where the structure lines are at. I think this is a good space for us right now. Hey, Gabby, how you doing? Man, I'm doing great, thank you. We're working on buildings. That feels good. Yeah, okay, so we're getting into 3 pixels, and 2 pixels is like really, really distant shapes. So I feel less and less need to worry about any kind of structural lines as we move this far back. It's like curving away from us, right? So the pixels get smaller the further away from the center we get. 7 pixels, this is closer. 5 pixels further away, 3 pixels furthest away, 3 pixels, 7 pixels, 7 pixels. So this is closer, further, further, further. So it's like 2 mounds. And so that means that when we put in the second layer skyscape, we're going to focus emphasis here, 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 and then it recedes. So more like that, and then probably over here as well. So like, yeah, a little sine wave. I like that. That feels natural somehow. Use this line to distinguish. Got another plunge here, so we want to put a line along that to help emphasize the plunge. There we go. Let's line it up. Very good. Good. Okay. Starting to feel pretty good. So once I have these vertical lines all dropped in, we'll be able to use them as a reference point for us doing the horizontal lines. Thread that needle. So I stream Mondays through Fridays in the morning like this. We're doing artwork for whatever book is next that we're going to publish. And in this case, obviously, it's the Sharn adventure, or the Eberron adventure that we're working on that we're going to be publishing next here. And then in the evenings on Mondays and Thursday nights, including tomorrow, and then Tuesday and Friday at lunchtimes, which we did yesterday, we work on the next book. So we're illustrating the current book that we'll publish, and once that publishes, hopefully the book that we're designing right now, the bashing campaigns, will be ready for us to start doing illustrations once we finish the illustrations for this. So we'll just have and then we've got like 4 other books that we have lined up that we want to work on after that. So we just keep cascading our way through the books, getting stuff done, just pushing forward, and while we do that, we do play testing and proofing campaigns to make sure that the ideas work. And we do that on my Discord server, which is linked down below. So anyone that's interested in this type of stuff, we are happily welcoming more people to be on board, especially if they're interested in play testing as players or as DMs. To utilize some of the stuff that I've been creating. Drop down that eraser a little bit here to give us that fade. Good. In. Now we can come back over here and continue working on horizontal stuff. Zero. Transform, flip horizontal. merge, delete, and then add. There we go. So I do a lot of symmetry reflection, duplicating and then flipping images around so that I can fake symmetry. And then here. And I think we're still in the 7 pixel area, right? Oh, this is a 3 pixel zone. Okay, so when we're looking at pixels, right? We're looking at 3 pixels. This is 10 feet. That's 10 feet. So when we come back through and we start putting lights in the buildings to indicate different floors, so you can see here, like this structure here, this area over here is 7 pixels, while this area over here is 3 pixels. So this is twice as far away. Well, probably not proportionately, but windows here will be 7 pixels, while windows here will be 3 pixels. That tells me I need to get rid of that because that's breaking proportion and perspective. Hey, what's up? You do that wrong. Hey, right on. Well, stay or go. I'm glad to have you. Copy, paste, flip, transform, flip horizontal. There, see? Syncs up real easily. Merge down. There, like that. That's good. And here. Copy, paste, retransform, flip horizontal. Line those up, merge them down. They're off a tick. Perfect. There we go. See? Easy peasy. Doesn't have to be a lot of detail. Just some for a reference point for where we're going to drop in more interesting stuff. We got what? 1, 2, 3. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like if we did something like this, that might not be too bad. Maybe that's not so bad. What's up? Gotta eat. All right. Hey, get that shit straightened out, man. All right. So there's a curvature that's happening here that I need to take into account. I'm going to take that and I'm going to free transform and I'm going to thin this up a bit. There, see, easy cheats. take that thing again. Copy paste, bring it over, and I'm going to squinch this one as well. Squinch. Merge. Let's grab this one again. Copy paste. Drag it over. Thin it up. Yeah, about feels right. Merge that down. I'm gonna actually let's grab these two, drag that there, then this one, drag that there. Copy paste for transform. Flip horizontal. Okay. This needs to be a little bit more vertical. So let's free transform and then nope. Free transform. Let's try that again. What is your damage? Thank you. Like that. That'll sus. Actually, what we need to do is here and drag that over a smidge. And then that. There we go. That should be good. I'm putting way too much effort into this. Transform, flip horizontal. Merge that down. But it looks cool, so I can't complain. There, let's do that. Blip, blip, blip. Nah, I don't need that. That's a level of detail. I think I'm going too far on that detail. So I'm going to back out of there. This tower is nothing going on with it. This tower also doesn't have. Actually, let's make something happen with this guy. Copy paste, retransform. Flip horizontal. Get rid of that. There should be here. Oh yeah, no, that's not lining up right. There, that should work. Merge. And then we'll scrub it down. What's up? Hey, welcome back. This is a very light eraser I'm using. It's just eroding the line weight without necessarily destroying it. It's just a fading. That feels good. That feels really good. I like that. Let's go back over to here, and we can break along here. Fade along the edges here to give some curvature. It's a real easy way to be able to cheat in some curve effect by erasing and fading the edges inward. Super easy technique, but it's effective. It's really, really effective. Not bad. See, there's enough details going on in some of the buildings that other buildings don't need as much detail. Having a change in the amount of detail you have in different structures helps the eye rest. You need resting points. If you have too much detail packed into too dense of an area, your eye's like whatever. It just checks out. So you want to not oversaturate your image with detail. There's no need. There really is no need for it. Your eye just gets exhausted after a little while, and it doesn't even hear the conversation anymore. Good. So far, so good. Hey, we're making some good progress today. It's, what is it, 7:20? I've still got 7:28. I got 20 minutes more. I'll probably work on some of this tonight on my own. Since you guys are starting to get the gist of me working across the architecture, I feel pretty comfortable about being able to. We'll see, because the book TM may demand my attention some more tonight, but yeah, it is. I need to resolve the mob mechanics. There, let's do that and trim that there. But while I'm working on that, I may very well just need mental breaks. Mental breaks are important. So while I'm bouncing between I'm going to go down here and add another layer. Erase there. Down. Copy paste for transform. Flip horizontal. Merge down. That's enough detail. I don't need to go crazy with that. Nice. And again, I don't want to do too much. I don't want to get too much into lower levels. I need to add these back in for me to get a perspective. Yeah, like detail back here is I don't need detail back here. It's just gonna get lost behind this chair. Thank you, Timely Timer. That's my official 20-minute timer. So I've got 20 minutes left on my block right now for me to work. Then I gotta go do my day job. And then I'll be back tomorrow morning to pick up wherever it is that gets left off. And tomorrow night, we'll be working on the Bashing campaign book design. We're going through and we are currently reimagining orders to be skill challenges instead of just I talk about D&D a lot, and the 3 pillars of adventure are actually like 3 different gears of mechanical of mechanics, right? Like combat has the most detail and takes the longest to resolve because there's so many die rolls and tactics and stuff. Exploration and investigation is basically skill challenges and ability checks to get answers for stuff to move your story forward. And then there's the social pillar, which is basically, they have it labeled as like speaking with NPCs and stuff, but basically there's no mechanics necessarily. Like there's no intrinsic mechanics to the social pillar of adventure. It's just conversations with people. And so the bastions that were presented in the DMG doesn't have any success or failures. It's you just tell the DM what it is that you want your bastion to give you this turn, and it gives you something. Or multiple things, depending on how advanced the bastion is. So basically, it's a way for you to just basically give your character stuff. without the DM having any kind of input on what that stuff may be. Assuming that you're using the Bastion system, as written, it's designed for players to decide that their characters get stuff, and so I want that to be more of a risk reward, broaden the amount of things that your character could get, but add in an element to the system where they actually have to work to get it, so like it's earned. And so that's the creation of skill challenges. And so restructuring the orders that you can issue to your Bastion, instead of just being a social pillar of just narrating that you tell your hirelings what you want. Instead, it becomes a skill challenge where they may or may not succeed at the task, requiring the character's involvement to achieve the thing that they had relegated to NPCs. The letter P. Weird. Okay. So when we work on the Bastion campaign tomorrow night, we are restructuring and codifying each of the orders that the 7 orders that you can give to a Bastion. Where we're defining specifically what does that mean, and then manipulating that to do different things, like create a structure for how an order will, like what's the resolution system for issuing and carrying out a specific order, and then once we have those mechanics in place, how can we manipulate and vary it so that it can represent different things. That sounds really vague, but if you stick around and you check out the Bastion stuff that I've been doing, you'll see what I mean by structuring and then diversifying its use. But that's kind of what. Ooh, no, I see what I need to do over here. Like that. Look at that curve. But I am absolutely falling in love with that book, so I am very much looking forward to working on it some more. That feels good. Hey, what's up? Well, hey, Zodiac, there we go. What are we painting? This is the, if you're familiar with the Eberron campaign setting in Dungeons and Dragons, this is a skyscape of Sharn. Cityscape, foreground. So this guy's in an office. Here's our frame for the windows in the office, and then we can see the cityscape beyond that behind him. What'll probably end up happening is I'll probably shift this over to like this, or like I'll probably shift the window frames over to be like this, and then possibly pull him over again. Where's my chair? Here. There. So we'll take that. There. Rahid. Probably bring him over like this. Oops. Yeah, I think that feels a little bit better. Yep, so that's what we're doing. So once we get the cityscape in, we'll do the chair, and then we'll flesh out some tchotchke along the rim here with the frame of the windows. Check. Reference point. Yeah. Welcome to the channel, man. I make books, I illustrate them, and then I publish them on the DMsGuild. If everyone will give me a hot tangent here real quick, like for example, I'm the guy that created the color mana spell point variant rule system, converting magic into the MTG 5-color system, which is here. Another book that I really love is the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. All my books have 100% free preview, so when you jump into the DMsGuild here, here's the color mana system. Let's look at Point Warlocks is fun. Click on that. So, like, I do all my own artwork, and then I build out the book. This is using the chapter 1 here is spell point mechanics for Warlock using the 2014 variant rules, but I prefer the color mana system. So using the USP and high magic, universal spell points is a generic 1-to-1 point ratio that I developed for spellcasting in D&D. So I make a book and I test it, and when it works, I build out the book, and then I illustrate it, and then I publish it. The Spelljammer book's got a lot going on to it. This is 107 pages. The entire thing is free preview. These little icons down here are hyperlink jumps that I can use to jump from area to area inside of the book, just as like a fun little navigation button. Like we have a random system generator for Wild Space here to create a system and all the planets and moons and stuff and the population on them and stuff like that. So we did all the illustrations. If you check out the Spelljammer stream, it's a big stream, but we built alternate mechanics for Spelljammer combat to use the 5e combat system with ships. And like here we're demonstrating, like at the 5-foot scale, you got characters on the deck of a ship, and then at the 50-foot scale, we're looking at ships in 50-foot squares. So like a hammerhead ship that's 250 squares, 250 feet long, or 50 squares long. At the 50-foot scale, it's only 5 squares, and at the 500-foot scale, it's only 1 square. So, and then if you scan down here, the mechanics that we developed is that, hold on real quick. All right, so each of these squares is 500 feet here. Here's the Citadel of Light in Light of Xeraxis, right? So this larger 10 by 10 space, that's 1 mile. So at the 500-foot scale, we have a fleet of Starmoth ships that are approaching a fleet of Hammerhead ships at the 500-foot scale. But then each, like you can see, these two ships are the first to meet. So we can then zoom in to the 50-foot scale, and you can see how a 10 by 10 grid is a 500-foot space, but it's 50-foot squares inside of each of them. So these Starmoths are 200 feet long, so that's a 4x4 space. And Warhawks are only 50 feet in size, so they fit inside of a 1x1 space. But like if we have one Warhawk close in and land on the deck of this Hammerhead ship, we can then zoom in again to the 5-foot scale and show the Warhawk has landed on the deck of the Hammerhead ship, and now Marines are starting to dispatch from the Warhawk ship to attack the Hammerhead ship in whole. So you can operate at the 5-foot, 50-foot, and 500-foot scale of combat, all using the same 5e mechanics. And then further down in the combat chapter here, and it has all these mechanics about like how to do movement and scaling speeds and going from a standstill or hovering or 5-foot movement on your ship that's just crawling along to zip at 100 million miles per day. There's a scale of there's a change in scale of combat and distancing and movement that you have going through there. And then we have breaking down all the action economy that you can use during 5e combat. Whether you're piloting the ship, this is how your action economy can be used. If you're commanding siege crews to attack with siege weapons, here's how your action economy breaks down. If you're commanding a squadron of ships then here's how your action economy breaks down. And then if you're acting as a support character, basically like inspiration and like help actions, here's how your action economy breaks down. So you can be a pilot, and you can be commanding a squadron of ships, and you can be commanding a team to fire a ballista on your ship, and you can be lending support to their firing efforts. If you have enough action economy, you can choose any and all of these roles. You're just selecting, I'm going to use my sword attack to slash this orc. I'm going to use another attack to order my team to fire a siege weapon. I'm going to use my physical movement to walk over to the helm of the ship and sit at it. And then I'm going to use my bonus action to dash. So I'm going to move the ship another 50 feet or something, or 5,000 miles, depending on what scale of speed we're operating at the time. But so we break down all those mechanics. We've play tested the hell out of it. It's a lot of fun. And then we have scaling spell casting to be able to amplify your spells by expending additional spell slots to increase the scale of the spells that you cast. So we have that all broken down. We don't scale damage, but we do scale distance and area of effect. And then we have this is what we do. And then I did all the illustrations. So once we got all the mechanics broken down, I then came on stream and I did all the artwork and all the design work for all this stuff. It took a couple months for me to build all of it. But so that's what I do. I make books, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. The MTG system, I'm going to update all of those books for 2024 as well. So anyone that thinks this stuff is cool, this is what I do. I do artwork for the books Monday through Friday in the morning, and I do game design on Mondays and Thursday nights, and then Tuesday and Friday at lunches. So like yesterday at lunch, we were working on the Bastion system, and then tomorrow night we'll continue working with the orders that you can issue to the Bastions, and that's what I do. There's a link to my Discord server down below. We're currently doing playtesting for the 2024 Color Mana system, along with the martial power system that gives martial characters like fighters, barbarians, monks, rogues a magic system that parallels half casting. So we're basically converting all the classes in D&D into either full casters or half casters, and providing an alternate magic system. Hold on. Providing like Book of the Nine Swords from 3rd edition, there was a whole system for martial characters using spell-like abilities to amplify their combat and exploration die rolls. So that's what we've built a system for that using the Color Mana system and the mana point system that I've been implementing. And I actually want to get rid of this. And it's coming along really nicely. The playtesting has been good, but it's not done yet. So we continue to test, and we do that in a mega dungeon that I DM on my Discord server on Saturdays. So anyone's welcome to join into the Discord. If there's a seat open and you know what the hell we're talking about, you're welcome to join. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, but you're looking for a pickup game, there's usually a seat open. I'll take up to 5 players, and we typically have 3 or 4. So we could add on another person ad hoc as needed. I'm going to... But I mean, obviously it's kind of intense because like it's a whole new subsystem of spellcasting for martial characters. So there is a learning curve. Anyway, I digress. That's what I got going on. That's what we're doing. Copy paste for transform. Flip horizontal. I was an illustrator first. I've been playing D&D since 1987, and sure, I did some homebrew occasionally. But like in 3rd edition, they punched out so many books in 3rd edition that it's like I never felt the need to design my own thing, because all I had to do was like wait a week or two. Like D&D, like Wizards of the Coast in 3rd edition was putting out a new 128-page book of character options twice a month. Like for 2 years, they punched out so much shit our table's philosophy was, why do we need to homebrew anything when if we just wait a week, we're going to have a whole nother book of stuff that we can build new characters with. Let's get tired of the options that they're creating before we decide whether or not we actually ever need to create our own stuff or not. And as soon as they stopped making 3.5 books and announced that 4E was on the way, homebrew. Just started homebrewing the shit out of stuff. That's when I started getting involved in spell points and mana systems. And then I got involved in Numenera because I liked 4E for playing Gamma World, but I did not like 4E for D&D specifically. It was too much of a step too quick. It was too much of a divorce away from what 3.5 was. I think most of us at this point recognize that 4E is a solid game system, but the common statement is it just didn't feel like D&D at the time. I think a lot of what 4E would resonate with where 5E is now, and them actually regressing back to more 4E ideas would have actually been a good idea for what 6E could have been. But alas, earwax, it is where it is. I love the 5e24 game engine because I love 5e in general. It's an awesome game engine. And I like the changes that they've made, the simplification of rules, that things automatically happen to your characters for monsters more often now. So they're trying to recover from something instead of just avoiding something. I like those changes. A lot of what they changed I like a lot. But I also recognize that's not a big step, and that people were looking for a really, really big step. I think I'm okay with that as is. I think I'm okay with that. There's more lower end structural stuff that I can do, like over here. Okay, so but for the most part, I think this stuff is good enough that we can start putting windows in on it, and like little blips of light to show structure, population, stuff like that that's going on. So I'm going to shift my focus more over here. And these are, so we can mess around over here now. Slowly making our way across the board. But yeah, Book of Nine Swords was awesome. I absolutely fell in love with the martial power system that they ended, and of course they ended up porting it and picking it up into 4E as martial powers, like literally. But then they got rid of all that martial magic in 5e and reduced them back down to their 2e status of being, swing and wait. And that's wholly unsatisfying. And especially with Magic the Gathering as the foundation of inspiration for it, every character in Magic the Gathering, like every card, requires mana, and there's plenty of martial characters that spend 2 mana and gain it like a boost of damage or whatever. And I wanted to incorporate that idea into characters, since we have a Magic the Gathering magic system for D&D that kind of implies that we should be able to do things with mana for martial characters too, as well as creatures. So we developed martial powers for 5th edition using the color mana system as our mana source. So Boros Legion Paladin is throwing around white and red magic already with their spell casting, but now they can expend their mana on martial maneuvers, right? Like commanding characters, like I'm going to use my bonus action and spend 2 points of mana. 2 of my allies can now make an attack against a target that we can both see, for example. This is quite a huge compliment. Thank you. To make such a detailed book with rulings, etc. I like the depth and how many dimensions this has. Yeah, Spelljammer is fucking cool, man. Sorry, I get disconnected from the text a little bit here and again. But hey, Steve, it's good to see you. We're at 7:53, and I have a day job, so I'm going to have to kick out of here in a minute and go do the day thing. But I stream artwork like this literally every morning, Monday through Friday, unless something weird happens. And then on Mondays and Thursday nights, we do game design for whatever book is on my mind. And the Bastion system that was built in 2024 in the DMG, I am unsatisfied with the lack of lack of options that it provides. So we've been rebuilding it to into what we're calling the Bastion campaign. It's a progressively generated, like the things that you try to issue orders to your hirelings and your Bastion. When something goes wrong, you have to. It becomes a skill challenge that has failure means that a complication occurs. That is an adventure hook. So, like, if you're trying to make a magic item and your team fails at making the magic item, that doesn't mean that it's ruined. It means something went wrong that needs to be resolved before you can continue building, before you can continue your work. Like, maybe the material you have isn't good enough. So now you have to, or material gets ruined and you have to replace it with something else. So now you got to go find, more, like, you got to go find griffin feathers. Or the item becomes cursed, and now it's attacking. It's causing spirit creatures to appear in your facilities. Now you have to fight the spirit creatures. Whatever. It's just an opportunity to gamify and make adventures out of the orders that you can issue to NPCs in the Bastion camp in your Bastion. So we'll be working on that some more tomorrow night when we're back on screen. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning to continue working on this. And with God's grace, I'll have another 20 years of being able to do things like this. D&D will probably have a new edition at that point. But so I'm kind of racing against time. Can I get all the things I want to build? Can I get them built for 5th edition before 5th edition goes away and gets replaced with whoever and whatever is next? So while Wizards of the Coast retains control of the D&D IP, that means that we can freely import MTG ideas through the DMsGuild into D&D, and I am absolutely burning that shit to the ground. Like, D&D's been my jam since I was 12, like 40 years ago. And the DM Guild gave me an opportunity to actually produce things to actually manifest the things that I always wished I could do as a kid. I now have the skill set to actually be able to accomplish the things that I wanted to do when I was younger, but just didn't know how, didn't do them well. It was just crap homebrew, the stuff that I made. But now that I'm more experienced and have had a lot of design time underneath my belt and making things, and had some professional gigs help teach me some ropes, I'm at a level where I can produce these things. And so my inner child is screaming in glee that these are things that I get to do. And so that's what I do. I'm living my passion. And the internet allows me to communicate with people while I do it. So the problem with doing artwork is how crushingly lonely it is. But being able to stream like this and babble at people, and occasionally people show up and hang out, it's a way for me to displace the lonely sadness that creeps into all artists. Even if you're performing on a stage, you're still alone. It's not like they're on stage with you and you're being spontaneous and living life with people. That's not what's happening at all. Let's merge that down. Back off. Cool. Okay, I'm just gonna do this little bit here and then I'm done. I gotta log out. There, we're going to leave that at that. We're going to merge this down. So I might be able to work on this a little bit more tonight, but I got some book stuff I need to do, so probably not. But we're just going to keep moving across the structure, and when we finish the silhouettes here, then we'll be able to, I think what we'll do next is we'll add in the second layer of lower towers that are closer in perspective. and then get that topography resolved. And then once we do that, we'll come back through and we'll do lights. Lights and effects on all the buildings. It's Wednesday. I think we might be able to get the buildings done by Friday and start doing lighting. Maybe we'll be done with this and start working on Rahid and the window frames by Tuesday next week, and then finish it. So this stuff takes time, but what else am I going to do with my life? There we are for now. All right, that's it for now, guys. Anyone that thinks this stuff is cool and wants to stick around, again, I'm here 9 times per week. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Check out my books down below if you're interested in D&D. If you want to hang out and try out some of this stuff and might need some advice or some pointers on how to make it flow smoothly, I'm happy to help. Join my Discord server down below. I've got a Patreon there for people that can't afford the books but still want to support me. A buck a week or a buck a month is kind of you. If you buy the books, leave 5 stars, because why else would you buy it? And leave a comment. Let me know. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate y'all. I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.